Welcome to the Built for Growth podcast. I'm excited to have you here today for this conversation that I had with Renee Belz. You might know her from Biohacker Babes. She has her own great podcast that she's been doing for 6 years that I'm a big fan of and I listen to regularly with her sister Lauren. But today we really dive into just a myriad of topics, including what really led her to biohacking. And her dad was a biohacker before biohacking was even coined a term. So it's pretty cool that she had the upbringing. I'm slightly jealous that she did. But, like most of us, we don't think what our parents are doing is cool. And she went off to college and she ended up in her own health crisis, which of course brought her back to what we consider biohacking or alternative medicine, which we both disagree. We feel like this should be, the first line of what we turn to when we have health issues. But one of the really interesting topics I thought we talked about was biodentistry. It's more holistic. So we talked about root canals, which I've had a root canal, and now I'm just rethinking. And I really had to kind of understand, not coming from a dental background, what that actually means, what actually happens, and what I could do about it. And just understanding that there can be asymptomatic infections in your mouth that are hurting you. And if you were trying all the things and it's not working for you, you might want to listen definitely towards the end of this podcast. That was really interesting for me. Also, we talked about metabolic health, which hopefully that is becoming a buzzword. I hope that you are hearing that more in your algorithm. Let that one sink in because that is so important in this day and age. We have so many things that is working against our metabolic health and our energy levels and our sleep and all these things that go into being comprehensively healthy. And so much of that is based around having good metabolic health. So we dip into the sugar burners, fat burners, and what we can do and what were some of the great things that her as a biohacker herself, somebody that really is a wealth of knowledge on the topic, like what does she do and how has she managed her metabolic health? And we talk about some of her favorite things to do. We also talk about cycle syncing and many, many other things. I feel like we covered enough topics in this podcast to really have made 3 episodes. So buckle up, sit down, and enjoy this episode. You're going to get a lot of information, but it's also a lot of fun. So as always, thanks for listening. All right. Well, kicking things off, I want to say thank you for coming over here to my podcast. I mean, I know we have a little bit of a history. We've worked together before. This is definitely not our first time sitting down. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the first conversation that I'm actually having with someone is like, we're going to sit down and just talk for an hour. And I've literally never seen your face before, but not the case for us. We've known each other for a few years, and your podcast, the Biohacker Babes, which you do with your sister. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that and kind of how that transpired.
Yeah, this is so exciting. I know. I'm thanks to Don Moxley, I think, who first introduced us. So, fellow biohacker. Yeah, the Biohacker Babes podcast, it was born because, Lauren and I actually grew up with biohacking. We call our dad the OG biohacker. He had all kinds of biohacking devices back in the early 90s. So when we were kids, we were exposed to like PEMF and red light therapy and vibration plates and saunas, all these things.
So cool. I'm slightly jealous.
It was really cool, but we were,
at that time, you probably didn't think it was cool.
No, we were like, typical kids. We thought most of it was just fun. Like the vibration plate was super fun for my friends and I to play on, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And, we had a lot of dance injuries as ballet dancers, so we would use all these different tools, and we didn't really know what we were doing, but it was pretty cool. So anyways, that kind of started the journey. And then about 6 years ago, Lauren and I were both working in the health and wellness industry. I was in Vegas. She was in New York City. She's also a Broadway performer. And we were like, man, this is so cool. We're sisters. We're in the same industry. How can we build a business together? And we were like, let's start a podcast. 6 years ago, it was like, we don't really even know how to do it. Let's just record a couple episodes and see what happens. And now we're at episode 310. So it's kind of flown by, but it's been really fun to work with her. Yeah.
That's so good. And you started the podcast, I think, because you had some health issues going on, right? Did your sister also? Why did you get back into biohacking? 'Cause I think I understand your story is like you kind of grew up with it, but you didn't really take it that serious. And then you started developing some health issues and you can kind of go from there.
Yeah. So Lauren and I both went off to college. I went off to Florida. She went to New York. And I kind of forgot everything my parents taught me about holistic health. I started drinking beer and eating pizza, not sleeping, just all the typical college things. I gained the freshman 18, actually. I just went crazy. And I kind of started to reverse some things. I got really into nutrition and like how I can fuel my body as a dancer. But when I graduated college, I got mono and I was out for like 6 months. I could barely get out of bed. I was sleeping 13, 14 hours a day. And traditional medicine looked at my labs and they said, your labs are totally normal. There's nothing wrong with you.
Did they know, like, how did you find out right away that you had mono? Like, how did you know? Or like, was it after? Okay, so you knew that and you were going to try to
I was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. It's like, with what we know about sleep now, it's like insane that I was doing that for years.
Yeah.
But I was type A, working full time, going to school full time. And then mono
were you just
was
exhausted? I mean,
I was running on adrenaline.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. I think when you're young and you're passionate about what you're doing, like you can push for a while. And then the mono hit and it was like, okay, you're done. You're in bed. Like there's nothing you can do about this. And so, like I said, traditional medicine was like, you just need to sleep more. I'm like, I'm sleeping half the day. How am I supposed to sleep more? Like, that's not the answer.
Okay, wait. So you went from like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. You got mono, and then you're sleeping like 13,
14 hours a night.
Okay, so how long were you sleeping that long for, and when you're getting these tests to try to tell you that you need to sleep more?
It was about 6 months.
Okay.
I was just blaming it on the mono. Like, some people get mono really bad. My now husband was my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, I can't kiss you because you'll get mono. And he was like, I don't care. And so we kissed. He got mono, which was like he coughed for about a day. Like, and he was fine. Like nothing. Like me, I was like the extreme case. So I kind of blamed it on the mono for about 6 months. And then that's when I went to the doctors and they were like, yeah, just sleep more, stress less, sleep more. And so then I went to all the alternative options, which it's funny we call them alternative. They should be the main option. But, I was looking at homeopathy, naturopath, massage, chiropractic, acupuncture, nutrition, everything under the sun, biohacking. And not one practitioner could really figure out what was going on. So that's what propelled me to be my own biohacker. It was like I had to put all these puzzle pieces together and figure out why was I so darn tired.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of things. The mono was just like, the thing that pushed me over, but there was a lot already happening in my body.
Okay, so when they're telling you to sleep more and you're like, that doesn't make sense because at this point I'm sleeping more than you probably feel like you ever have in your life. Like that can't be the answer. So then you start looking into more alternative or, as you said, it should be,
mainstream.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what did you find?
So I had poor blood sugar control was number one. I didn't realize that I was actually going into hypoglycemia multiple times during the day and when I was sleeping.
Hypoglycemia.
Yeah, so low blood sugar. Yeah. So, CGMs are really popular right now, and I love CGMs. They're so great. But a lot of people talk about hyperglycemia, right? High blood sugar.
Yeah.
But hypoglycemia can be very problematic. Mm-hmm. And so my body was dipping into that, which then increases cortisol, and then that stresses your body out, and then it makes you more tired. So I had to learn how to actually eat a good diet, and 25 years of ballet did not teach me that.
Pushed you into, like, hypoglycemia? Do you have any idea? Like, why does that happen? Why do people get that?
I think I was just under eating for so many years.
Is that kind of the dance culture kind of thought?
Yeah. Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was like 500 calories a day, dance for 3 hours a day. Like that's what you do.
That's so wild to think about. Yeah. Do you have any idea how many calories you eat a day now? Do you ever?
I don't even count anymore.
Yeah.
I've really gotten away from that. I just like eat when I'm hungry and I try and eat the macros that my body is asking for. Now that's taken a lot of years to tap into that.
Did you ever measure it? Did you ever go like way more than that? Were you ever eating like 2,000 calories a day and
there's probably days that I'm eating that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to emphasize that because I think women generally undereat and especially protein. I know for sure most women undereat protein. And I think especially women who are trying to be weight conscious, sometimes more is more. Like it's what you're looking for. It actually works the other way around because what I had happen to me a couple times as a professional athlete and someone who was trying to lose weight efficiently and not too much, and I don't want to lose muscle, and I'm eating very consciously and I'm eating a lot of protein, but I'm still on a calorie deficit. So I'm eating like 1,800 calories a day, but I'm working out 2-3 times, and so I'm burning a lot of energy, and I'm definitely in a pretty good caloric deficit. We're aiming for about 500 calories, I think, a day of a deficit, which is a max, that's a pretty hard pull.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening for me is that my endocrine system basically just took the hit. And this is what happens with women. And we really need to understand this. This is very, very, very important. It is not as simple as calories in, calories out, and that's how you lose weight. No, because if you are still moving your body and you're using your brain and you're asking your body to do these things, then it's forced to prioritize your calories to use for the physical ask of your body. But there is a much, I would argue even more important ask, that it's quietly asking you, please give me enough calories to support your hormonal function. And when you don't give your body enough of that, not only can you mess your whole metabolism up, but you can mess up the entire hormonal system and basically cause like kind of a period of like, well, they call it amenorrhea, which I've experienced a couple times as an athlete. But it's kind of like being like a menopausal woman in a time when you're not supposed to be. And the catastrophic domino effect of what happens to your hormones when you do that is just so bad. And I just encourage women, eat more than you think, but eat protein, prioritize protein, and eat a lot and move your body. Yeah. And you're going to naturally put on a little more muscle. It's not like you're not going to, trust me, you're not going to get bulky. You're not going to, all of a sudden.
Trust me, I've tried.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're still tiny as can be.
I'm like 90 grams of protein a day and lifting 4 days a week. And I mean,
Yeah, it's not easy to do as a woman. And I have more muscle mass. I've been doing this. I've been literally lifting human bodies since I was like 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so I think starting younger like that, I just built more muscle, and it's just how my frame is built to be, which I love it. And I'm so, I love my body and I have no issue with that whatsoever. Some people probably might be too buff for their liking, but it's like, I had to work at an extreme for that.
Yeah.
Like your average going to the gym, lifting weights, eating your protein, running, you don't need to worry about that. You're gonna have a hard time putting on the muscle. But women need to eat more. They need to eat more protein. Okay, real quick, I just want to take a second to say thank you so much. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for supporting me. One way that you could do a really simple solid for me would be to like and subscribe to the Built for Growth podcast. This helps the algorithm and it helps me tremendously. It tells the algorithm basically that you like this podcast and that it is worth showing it to other people. So that would be amazing if you could do that. I would be so grateful to you. And one other way that you could help me help you would be if you go to my website, mieshatate.com, and subscribe to my newsletter. I send it out every few weeks and I write it from the heart. I don't use AI. And it's just a great way for me to connect with you in a really simple, easy way for you to support me. So thank you again so much. I appreciate you all. And with all the love, thank you as always for the support.
I wish I knew that when I was younger.
So I'm sure that your endocrine system and your hormones and those things, like as you mentioned, cortisol, like your body's in fight or flight trying to survive with everything that you are asking it to do. Did you ever experience amenorrhea as well? Like, did you lose or have like a cycle?
Shockingly, I did not.
Okay. And everybody's different. I mean, sometimes it's going to hit you in one area and is not in the other. And I think that comes a lot down to genetics. It comes a lot down to, your individual body type. And you're also you're a smaller person. So you technically, you need less macros and less calories and things like that. So, I mean, it's also, there's just a lot of things to factor into that. But I know from my experience, for sure, it's, it's usually my hormonal, my cycle
hormones
that takes
were
the
for
hit.
sure jacked up. That's why I was surprised I didn't have amenorrhea. So in 2008, the beginning of this journey, I went to a chiropractor who did a salivary cortisol panel on me, where you do the 4 points throughout the day.
Okay.
And in 2008, not many people were doing that. Traditional medicine definitely poo-pooed any salivary cortisol test. And it came back and my cortisol was completely flatlined. And so your cortisol, when you wake up, you should have this natural rise, the cortisol awakening response, and then it naturally comes down. Melatonin comes up, you fall asleep. Mine was just flatlined.
And that's because it was kind of over, is that because it was overused? And so therefore it was just kind of
Yeah. So what happens, like everyone talks about high cortisol, right? Like we're stressed out, we're under eating, we're overworking, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and your cortisol gets high and it's high and it's high. And then eventually your body's like, I can't do this anymore. And then you'll get this low
You
cortisol.
plummet.
Yeah.
What
And you're
was
just
the low
exhausted.
cortisol? Like what was your symptoms at the time? That's when you were sleeping like the 13 hours a
Yeah.
night and
Just unbelievable fatigue. I
okay.
mean, like walking to the bathroom was like a workout.
And so I feel like your circadian rhythm probably wasn't.
Oh, I had none. I had no circadian rhythm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't really aware of that. That came like later down the road, the circadian rhythm part.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just sleeping like all the time, napping, sleeping.
Oh,
Yeah,
where did you go from there? What else did you do? What'd you find out?
yeah. I also found out I had mercury toxicity,
Oh,
which is like crazy. So my dad is a biological dentist, and my mom is a holistic dental hygienist. So I grew up with. That's how my dad became a biohacker because he was doing biological dentistry in the 80s, which again, like no one was doing. He was talking about the dangers of mercury and fluoride and root canals undercover pretty much. Like if the ADA, the American Dental Association, found out he was talking about those things, he could have lost his license. So anyways, that's to say I grew up with the awareness of the dangers of mercury. And I thought, I never had silver fillings, so why would I have mercury toxicity? But my dad was like, you know what, let's just do the test just to see. And my mercury was off the charts. It was like one of the highest he had ever seen.
no way.
Which,
What?
like, I don't know about you, but in the 90s, canned tuna.
Oh
I like
yeah.
lived on canned tuna. I had all the childhood vaccines, which have thimerosal, which is a form of mercury. And yeah, I think that combination. And then also my parents had mercury or silver mercury fillings when before they conceived me. So they had mercury in their bodies, which can be passed down
I
to.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So that's why preconception detox is so important. We always recommend like detoxing your bodies, both partners, at least 3 months before trying to conceive, because you're going to pass down a lot of the toxins to the baby, and then that's setting them up for their entire lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's okay, mom and dad. I'm not mad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they
They
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
They did the
They
best they
didn't know.
could. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. What does a preconception detox kind of entail? What does it look like?
I mean, there's all different things. Like I like Dr. Pompa's cellular detox protocol. That's pretty intense. Quicksilver Scientific does a lot of detox, especially with heavy metals and the mercury, and really just cleaning up your whole lifestyle, right? Cutting out, alcohol, working on your circadian rhythm, sleep optimization, stress, clean diet, environmental toxins, cleaning all that up, just
Yeah.
as pure as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that gets, like I said, that gets passed down through
Yeah.
the sperm and the egg.
Well, I know. I thought it was always interesting epigenetics, how you kind of like the shape that you're in. So if you are a heavier person when you conceive, that is kind of like epigenetically what you are setting your child. That's kind of like the genes that are on. And it goes deeper than that. That's just a very simple image to paint. If you're more fit or if you're less fit, that's kind of like what I look at in a layman's terms, like a baseline that you're giving for your child.
Yeah.
But there's so many more epigenetics that are constantly turned on and kind of flipped on and flipped off. And that's just how our biology, basically, we know how to evolve for what we need. And so generation and generation and generation is going to continue to evolve, or, when I say de-evolve,
Yeah.
we kind of do that a lot too.
Backwards evolve. Yeah, yeah. And then even like we're seeing now with childhood obesity, like if you are obese as a child, you will most likely struggle with your weight for your whole life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So preconception, but then also what are the kids doing at that young age?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
there's also sometimes those kids that are like a little husky and then they kind of like grow into their frames too.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think that's
for
also
sure.
like normal, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like
Yeah.
sometimes kids can be like a little thicker and then that's like they hit that growth spurt and there's like a little
Yeah.
ebb and flow to that, right?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
even, like when we were kids, like I remember, there was one or two kids that were a little overweight. And then, yeah, you get to high school and they kind of lean out.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing like,
I know.
obese
children.
children. Like we didn't have that
No,
when we were kids.
no.
Yeah. But yeah, the genetic part is really interesting too. And actually, like I have the Alzheimer's gene, which is an interesting thing because like some people are like, oh my God, that's terrifying. And I'm like, for me, it's actually empowering because I know I need to focus on certain things to turn those genes off, right? So they're not expressing.
So tell me about
Yeah.
that. What exactly, like
Yeah.
having the gene doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get Alzheimer's.
Right, right. Have you done genetic testing?
Not like that, no. To see like
Okay.
what, yeah, exactly, no. Like what I'm
Yeah.
predispositioned for and things like that. No, I haven't. I've
Yeah.
only done like the background, like of like your
23andMe.
Yeah, you go.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ancestry side.
Yes.
Yeah, which is super fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do one of the health reports. I mean, they're getting better every day. There's still so much we need to learn about genetics, but specifically the Alzheimer's gene is the ApoE gene. So if you are, you have two alleles, one from mom, one from dad. So I'm a 3-4, which means I'm at a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's. 4-4 is a very high risk. I think it's like, I don't want to throw a percentage out because I mean, you could look it up online, but it's very likely you'll get Alzheimer's. And then you could be a 3-3, a 2-3, a 2-2. But speaking of evolution, so we're finding that 3-4 or 4-4, you're less prone to parasitic infections. So is it possible that through evolution, our genes change when we used to be exposed to parasites like out in the jungle and the wild and all the things, versus nowadays we're like, okay, well now we're worried about Alzheimer's, so maybe it's not the best gene. But it's interesting to think about.
It is interesting.
Yeah. So that specific gene you can turn it on and off, watching sugar intake, alcohol consumption, focusing on sleep, right? We know sleep is cleaning out the lymphatic system. So that's washing your brain. It's like the car wash of your brain while you're sleeping. That is so, so important for preventing dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay. So you do that.
I'm a sleep queen. I love my sleep. I'm like, do not mess with my sleep.
I would say I'm the same way.
Yeah.
We have a trip coming up to Nashville, and we're going to bring the kids. And they were asking, like, what time do you want the babysitter till? And I was like, well, like midnight there is 10 p.m. here. I was like, not past midnight, because then I have to be back by 10. I want a good excuse because I like my sleep. I don't like to mess with it. I like at all costs. I just don't want to do that. Like I'm not just down to, it's not worth it to me to have like a late night rager, like even if I wasn't drinking or something, because it's just not worth it the next day. I like to wake up and feel good.
Days,
and following days.
Sometimes it takes you
and
a
then
while.
You get sick, right?
Yes, and then you get sick.
Yeah, I always like when I don't have sleep, I get sick.
Same. That's the number one thing. I haven't been sick in almost 2 years, and I think it's because I've really like honed in my sleep optimization, and I mean other things as well. But
that, and you don't have kids, right?
And I don't have kids.
Because I was like, those little germy buggers, they'll get you even with sleep.
Oh, I'm sure. They bring home all kinds of stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And their hands are constantly in their mouth, and then they're in your, in your face, in your personal space. And then of course when they're sick, they want you to sleep with them.
Oh gosh.
So there's
even worse, just like constant immune.
I have learned though, I try to breathe through my nose more often now, because I guess I learned through Huberman, that if viruses or introduced through your nasal cavity, you have a better immune response.
Right. Yeah, you have like natural air filters here.
Yeah. They're like made to catch. So our nose is made for breathing. Mouth is made for eating and talking.
Yes. Don't want to be a mouth breather.
Yeah. I try not to. I'm like, I realize how much my daughter's a mouth breather, and I think I have been too most of my.
Really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. As a child, I have no idea. But as you can hear now, I'm a little bit congested. And so I don't want to be like sniffling during our podcast. So I'll probably end up more mouth breathing. But I've also had my nose broken quite a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And so
do you have
it's like
a deviated septum?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's even make it really hard.
It does. But I was under the impression that I just don't breathe. I don't breathe well through my nose. I don't smell well. I just kind of convinced myself that, I just can't really breathe through my nose. And through working on it intentionally, it's changed actually quite a bit. I now will flare my nostrils. I'll try to open everything up. I'll close my mouth at night.
Do you use mouth tape?
I just started using mouth tape, which is so fun. But before that, I just kind of like suction my mouth kind of like shut, like stick my tongue to the roof of the mouth and kind of like get most of the spit out there and kind of get a good suction, and then try to go to sleep that way.
Yeah.
And then I wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh no, my mouth's open. Close your mouth again.
Yeah.
So I'm working on it, but you know what? I can smell things now that I forever just thought I didn't have a good sense of smell. It just my nose just wasn't being asked to work. It's like I had laid everybody off, up there, like all the, the systems
Well, I
and
mean,
everything.
mouth breathing is easier, like short term.
It
you have
is.
this massive hole.
Yes.
It's not good for you, but yeah, it's easier.
Yeah, but I've just been learning again how much more efficient it is. Like, especially when you're on an airplane and stuff, you don't want to get sick, all that circulating air. Or it's funny now if someone's like coughing in front of me. Like we were talking about the new Costco that's open here in Vegas. There was this lady, they're just hacking. I was like, breathe through your nose, breathe through your nose, breathe through your nose.
Yeah. Oh, airplanes are worse when you sit next to someone that's obviously sick. You're just like, please
breathe through my nose.
Do you ever use nasal sprays?
Not really, but what is it? Flonase? I think that's the one that was recommended. Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, I've never used that one, but I use this one. I'll send you the link later. It became really popular during the pandemic because they found that it can kill viruses in your nose. So anytime I'm going to be around like a big group of people or I'm traveling on a plane or whatever, I use this spray.
Beautiful.
And that's part of what I think has helped in the last couple of years of not getting sick.
Nice. I mean, I'd like to be able to say I haven't been sick in a couple of years, but it's just not. It's not true.
I mean, with kids, it's so hard. Yeah.
It's harder.
But I'll send you the nasal spray.
But you travel a lot, though. So, I mean, that's still like impressive because it's still like you get exposed. Like when I travel, I know I'm way more prone to get sick. And so sleep disruption and all the things, losing time.
Crossing time zones. Yeah. Like actually, the last time I got sick was 2 years ago. My husband and I went to Hawaii. And day 2 of like our 8-day vacation, we both got horrifically sick.
Aww.
And I was like, never again. Like, I mean, vacation when you're sick, you're in
it's
Hawaii
the
and you're
worst.
like, I just want to go to bed. It's awful. And so now I'm like, with how much I travel, I do all the immune hacks because I'm like, I don't want to ruin my trip again.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you about that, but I'm going to share then a little story that we had too. We went to Florida for Dave Asprey's Biohacking conference. I remember.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. And then from there, we went to Puerto Rico and I taught a seminar there. And it was just like so beautiful. And we had this Airbnb that we could like literally see the beach. It was just literally like, 20 feet from our friend.
Amazing.
And our daughter got so sick. Like she got sick. My son got sick first. I think he was sick in Florida. So Johnny was pretty much up in the room. And then my daughter got super, super sick. And we went to the beach like one time during that whole all the way to Puerto Rico. And it was just like miserable because it was so hot. Like we just couldn't take her outside because she was like running such a high fever as it was. It's like she was just exhausted and she needed to sleep. And it was just it was terrible. So
I'd rather just be home than
like just wasting my vacation time. But okay, so let's dip into that a little bit. Travel biohacks and not getting sick, immune boosting things.
Yeah. So I think the nasal spray, like game changer. I think that's been huge.
But it doesn't have what's the thing that you don't want? I don't know. It's like there's something that's addictive in a certain nasal spray.
Oh, like Afrin?
Afrin. There we go.
Afrin. Yeah.
Doesn't have that?
No. It doesn't have that. Afrin is terrible. Do you follow Nate Bargatze, the comedian?
No.
He did a whole stand-up about Afrin. Like, it was so funny because it's so addictive. Like, if you read the label, it says, do not use for more than 3 days. And he tells the story about his dad who's been using it for 50 years.
Oh, my gosh.
So it does work. Like if I happen to be sick and I'm going to be flying and I don't want my ears to get clogged, Afrin like saves the day for sure. But it's like emergency use. Because it's super addictive because the more you use it, the more you need it.
Right.
Because the way it dilates your blood vessels, you become dependent on it. Mm-hmm. So this is not Afrin, I promise. You can use it all the time. Okay. That's really great. I also love, there's a supplement from Quicksilver Scientific or Scandi Labs. They both make it. It's a liposomal formula with elderberry, vitamin C, vitamins D, A, E, and K. And it's like a magic sauce. I do that too. It's a liquid. You can get little travel bottles.
Okay.
So that's like your big hitters for immune function.
And those that you're ingesting?
Yep. It's a liposomal. So you just pour it under your tongue, let it sit for a minute, and then swallow it down. And so you can do a teaspoon every day as maintenance, or if you are sick or you're worried you're getting sick, you can bump it up to like 4 teaspoons in a day.
Okay.
So that's like a really good hitter. I always keep like zinc on board. I mean, supplements can be really helpful, but also I like getting IVs the day before I fly.
Okay.
Do you ever get IVs? Do IV therapy?
I do sometimes, but tell me if this is weird or nonsense to you, but I'm worried about the microplastics in IVs.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to find glass IVs.
I know.
But you
is
still have
anyone
to
doing
go.
that?
No, but I keep trying to plant seeds everywhere because that would be ideal. Because
Yeah.
those bags with the fluid just sit forever and they're in heat. They're never like they're always in heat and they're just, trucked. I don't know. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're good for like a year or more. So, I mean, they can be quite, I imagine like, I just heard
Yeah.
about a study that was done. And of course, there's a million studies. So I'm not vouching for the validity of this, but that there were more microplastics in preemie babies who had directly correlated with how many more lines of IVs that they had in them.
Really?
And so I'm just like, oh man,
Especially for babies.
I
Like,
know
that's
for
such a
babies.
huge
Yeah, like the
hit.
more that they had, the more.
Mm,
So that is my concern with
Yeah.
IVs.
for sure.
But of course, you got to take your pros and your cons and pick what works best for you and what doesn't. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And what is important, like prioritizing, because you could drive yourself crazy with all of this.
Oh my,
And
absolutely.
you can make yourself just not want to do anything. Like
Just not leave your house.
not leave your
ever.
house, and then you want to actually leave your house because you realize like, oh, the air conditioners, and like you should actually have fresh air, and like it was like there's
Right.
always going to be a but in anything that you do. So for me, plastics and microplastics is really something that I have tried to tackle very heavy and super head on. But I was
good.
diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and that's when I first started kind of learn about that and microplastics and plastic in general. And I was like, where can I get a glass IV? Because I'd love to get
I
it.
would pay extra for it.
Me too.
Can someone, whoever's
Yeah.
listening, can someone develop
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thing. It's just not really, I mean, you can get them. I know you can get them. It's just, I don't think this is at all widespread, and it's probably
Maybe in
less
10 years from
convenient,
now.
but
Yeah.
I hope. I
It's
mean,
gonna
and
be
you
harder
still,
to ship it and store
I
it. Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you're right. Like you have to pick your poison.
exactly.
So like I think a little bit of microplastics for me to get like
Yeah.
a massive amount of vitamin C and zinc and glutathione
Yes,
and B vitamins
absolutely.
the day before I fly across the country.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna do it because
Yep.
I've pretty much cut plastics out everywhere else in my life.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like
But-
you're give and take a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's find some glass IVs.
Yes, I vote.
That'd be
I
great.
vote for glass.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
else? You got anything else that you like to do before you travel?
Methylene blue
Okay.
is a great one for anytime I'm flying because obviously with the extra radiation,
Yeah.
extra oxidative damage, most people don't feel well when they fly, right? You land and it's not just the jet lag.
Yeah.
It's that you're exposed to all these bugs on the plane, the low oxygen, that doesn't
More
make you feel good,
radiation.
more radiation. So methylene blue, I think, is just like a no-brainer for flying.
Yeah.
Great for mitochondrial health, great for oxidative damage,
Yeah.
great for brain fog. So,
There's some
Yeah.
like, Paul Saladino?
yeah,
He doesn't like methylene
he
blue.
hates it. He
Yeah, he's
hates
like,
it.
that's the one thing he wishes was like debunked, like methylene blue. He just doesn't think it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I'm not smart enough to argue with him.
Methylene blue, it's
I
so
don't know.
controversial right now. Like
Yeah.
certain people you ask and like, yeah, Paul Saladino, even like the medical medium just came out speaking against it. And
Yeah.
I'm supportive of methylene blue because I have felt the difference.
Yeah.
I followed like Dr. Scott Schur, I think is really great.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mike Bukowski, they're great experts on methylene blue. And the science makes sense to me. I mean, the other thing is like some of them say, oh, it's not natural. It didn't come from this earth. I'm like, yeah, but we're not living like in a natural environment. And so I don't remember who said this. They said it's a modern solution for a modern problem.
Gotcha.
Like our mitochondria are being damaged like
Right.
all day, every day. Poor food, poor water, EMF, stress. Like
Yeah, and we cannot escape it.
we can't.
You could be the best, perfect biohacker in the world, and you can't escape it.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
this
I guess
point.
you could go live in the middle of nowhere and have, no
still
EMFs. Then you have no social connection. You have no community.
Right, which is also technically not good for you.
Right.
It's like stressor. But even
Loneliness.
then, you're still
Yeah.
going to get the rain now. All the water on this planet is exposed. I mean, I don't care where you're going. There may be places with less and more, but you're still exposed. Like this entire
Right.
planet is infected.
Right. So why not use something like methylene blue?
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid argument. I think it's a good argument. What about molecular hydrogen tablets? Have you gotten into that
Oh,
at all?
yeah. I think that's another great one for
That's
traveling.
what I take before I
Yeah.
go. I try to be somewhat regular about that, but I'll be honest, I'm just not somebody who could ever be perfect and regular about taking all my supplements all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so like I always have cycles, but I kind of think
Yeah, I
that's,
think that's
good
good,
for
though.
you. I think so
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Because then your body isn't getting used to it and just assuming, oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting this at this time today.
That's what I tell myself anyways.
Yeah. I kind of cycle, like if I run out of a bottle, I toss it and then I'm like, okay, wait a little bit, and then I buy another one, you know.
Yeah.
That's kind of good.
I think it's good too. But the molecular hydrogen, that's a good one for me. I always make sure if I'm going to go and get like an x-ray done, like if I'm going to the dentist or anything else, like I want to make sure that I'm like preparing for that with taking molecular hydrogen. And the same thing if I'm going to travel or go on a plane or anything like that.
Yeah.
And like,
do you do the tablets?
I do the tablets. Yeah.
You know,
I don't
feel a
even dissolve them
difference
in the
with
water
those.
anymore. I just put them straight in my mouth, which is weird. Well, I don't swallow it. I let it dissolve in my mouth.
God. Does it feel like Pop Rocks or something? Like, what is it?
Well, it can get hot in certain. So you gotta like bounce it around sometimes. I know it's so funny, but I'm just like a raw dog kind of person. I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
Oh, I mean, I do that with my amino acids, my EAAs.
You know what?
I'm just right in the mouth. I'm like, I don't have time for water.
Yeah, and I do the live on.
Live
the
on
liposomal.
labs?
Yeah, liposomal. So I do those as well. But they're
without water,
just straight up raw dog. Yeah, straight up. And they I mean, they can be a little bit rough. But
do you do the glutathione?
Oh, yep.
Oh,
all
God.
raw.
Oh man.
Yep. No. So I mean,
Kudos to you.
I just pretty much, if it can go in, you know, but I don't recommend, do not swallow a molecular hydrogen tablet. I'm not recommending that. Do not do that.
And then what would happen in your stomach?
Yeah, I mean, because it fizzes and it would be hot and it'd be in the acid. You don't want to do that. Like that could definitely cause. Don't do that. But I'm just saying that I will let it dissolve in my mouth. Sometimes I'll put like a small sip of water and then I'll just kind of like let it dissolve and I'll make sure it's completely dissolved before I'm like actually ingesting it. I know that sounds really weird, but you know what happens if I don't do that? I will put the cup on the counter and wait and get bored and I'll leave and I'll come back 30 minutes later and be like, all the molecular hydrogen's pretty much gone because it escapes so fast. You kind of have to just wait. You have to drink it. And I don't. So that's why I started doing that. It's like this.
Have you ever tried the Echo Go bottle?
No.
It's like it makes hydrogen. Like you fill it with your like filtered water.
Yes. I don't know if it's that brand. I can't remember if I'm being
I guess
totally
there's
honest.
a couple brands now. Yeah.
So yes, I've done that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's, I don't know, easier
more
because
convenient.
you can like bring it with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Granted, the efficacy is good. I don't know I know some are not as good as others. Like some, you know, are not putting the amount of molecular hydrogen that would even, you know, move do anything.
Yeah.
So
I mean, with like most biohacking things, right? Like something becomes popular and then everyone jumps on board and starts making their own. Even methylene blue. Like there are so many junk methylene blue products on the market where Dr. Scott, I just had him on my podcast the other day, and he was saying they bought a bunch up from the market and tested them in their lab. Most of them didn't even have the amount of methylene blue that they said on the label, but then they also tested them for heavy metals, and some of them like lead, arsenic, mercury.
Okay, so that is the thing that scares me so much about the supplement industry is that it is not regulated. So they just can say whatever they want to say. Mm-hmm. So I always look for certifications like the NSF certification because me as a professional athlete, I am not supposed to take any supplements that don't have certain stamps of approval because of that. Because when you are buying your supplements, be conscious of this, that what it says on the label, even if it has what it says on the label, what it has in there that it doesn't say on the label is what is the most concerning to me. Like lead and arsenic, they don't list those things, obviously.
Right.
So even if everything is true on the label, it's like, what else is in that? And this is really problematic. And you know, I mean, this is it can be really dangerous when you think that you're taking something and maybe you're taking this every day and it's supposed to make you better in theory. I mean, even things like you know, adaptogens. Can be
a lot of those
full
can be
of heavy metals.
Pesticides. A lot of those are sprayed like
exactly,
crazy.
Especially if they're made in China or coming from China. Oftentimes you think you're doing something good for yourself, but you're putting more of bad than you are good unintentionally, and you don't know.
Right. Chlorella, spirulina, a lot of those.
By the way, how did you detox from the heavy metals? What was your, or how would you even do it now, knowing more?
Yeah, I would do the same thing today. I did the Quicksilver Scientific protocol. Okay. Do you know Dr. Chris Shade?
Yeah, I do know.
He's like a mad scientist.
Yes.
I love him.
Yeah.
Genius. He studied mercury like more than anyone I've ever met. So he put together this protocol. Now he has a supplement company, Quicksilver Scientific. but I did the 6-month protocol, and it's pretty intense.
What's it
It's like, I mean,
Like-
it's mostly liposomal formulas, but you have
Yeah.
like your vitamin C, EDTA, glutathione, binders, amino acids for gut support and detox support. IMD, it's a product he created called intestinal metal detox.
Okay.
It's pretty intense for however long you want to do it, but
Yeah. Well, intense, like, what do you mean? Like, what you experience is intense, or just like what you have to do?
just what
Like
you have to do.
Okay.
Like I think it was 5 times each day I was taking stuff. It's like you're taking
that's
the
a lot.
liposomals, then
Yeah.
you're doing the binders, and then the liposomals. Like,
Well, I imagine it's not easy to get heavy metals out of your body. So
yeah,
I
because
mean,
your
it's
body
work.
stores it, right? Like your body's very smart, right? It adapts. Like if there are heavy metals in your bloodstream, it's going to get it out of your bloodstream as quick as it can.
Yeah.
And then it stores it in your brain, in your organs, in your fat tissue.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, body.
Well, and then if
And
you
you
have
gotta get it
metabolic
out.
syndrome, all the fats get like inflamed essentially, and like things don't pass through the cells as well. So then it gets
Right.
basically congested. So even if you were
Yeah.
like going in the sauna and you're, that's supposed to be a way,
Yeah.
right, that you can help get
Sauna's
detox.
great, infrared sauna, because that'll
Yeah.
actually penetrate and help to break that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could be working against yourself still if you have a lot of inflammation and, metabolic syndrome where the things can't quite come out when you want them to
Right.
release. Yeah.
And most people have, poor metabolic health.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Why not? That's a great jumping off point. Let's talk about metabolic health a little bit
Yeah.
and, anything that you have to add in that area.
Yeah. I think you had Ben Azadi on the podcast.
I did.
Right? Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Oh, I
His
love
book
him.
is great, by the way. I don't know if you
Yeah,
got a
his
chance to-
newest one,
Yeah.
Metabolic Freedom.
It's so
yeah.
good.
I'm like, every American needs to read this book.
I know.
Because, one thing we learned during the pandemic was how rampant poor metabolic health is, right? It's like 92% are not metabolically healthy.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I hope we're in the 8% that are.
I hope so. I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, so I mean, people they're not burning their fats and carbs efficiently. Like most people are carb burners. That's why they're addicted to eating carbs and sugar and having caffeine all day long, because their body literally doesn't know how to tap into the fat to burn that for energy.
yeah.
And like humans have been able to do that forever. That's how we survived, famines and
Yeah.
wars, right? We could tap into the fat reserves and survive. And we can't do that today.
Yeah.
and
Basically,
a lot
we're
of it's-
inefficient sugar burners.
Yeah.
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 I mean, and basically, what that means is that your body is meant to be able to switch between fuel sources. It's supposed to be able to burn carbs and sugars as an energy source when necessary. But most of the time, you don't really need the quick energy because if you're not running a sprint, if you're not, at the end of like maybe trapping an animal and you need a quick movement, or you're not, running from a lion. Or you're not working out, like if maybe you're an athlete and you need carbs. Then athletes cannot. I don't believe any kind of athlete that needs to move quickly and not an endurance runner, for example, is going to need carbs.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not that carbs are bad. It's just that we have way too many of them, and they're hidden in so many things, and sugar's added in everything from spaghetti sauce to your Cheerios to your almond milk, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
Starbucks alone, people have no idea how much sugar they're drinking.
oh
I'm
yeah,
amazed
that
they're like-
Starbucks is a candy shop.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a
Yeah.
liquid candy shop, and it's the
Yeah.
worst form. Any kind of liquid sugar, in my opinion, is the worst form because there's just nothing to slow it down. You might as well just take sugar water and inject it in your veins. Like,
Same thing.
yeah, that's basically what you're doing. You're an addict at that point. You're a sugar addict.
And then you add caffeine to it, and it's even more stressful on your body.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So you have the sugar burning system, and you don't need it if you are a person who is just normal, and maybe you go for a jog, or you lift a little weights, or maybe you're sedentary and you just hate working out. I mean, I can't say I could tell you to work out all day long, but maybe you don't want to. You don't need carbs, basically. You pretty much don't. You need very few. You don't need a lot. But that's just not how our American diet is prioritized things. There's always a bun on the burger. There's always, this processed food. There's always the fries. It's this heavy carbs because carbs are inexpensive.
Right,
So they fill the plate, and, there's the rice and these things. And it's like, we don't need all that. But when you go into the fat burning side, that's more like when you're sitting down, when you're walking, even when you're going on a jog, like you can be in a fat burning state, which is a cleaner fuel source. It's going to help you, your mental clarity. You're not going to have the blood sugar spikes up and down, which is going to help you have a more stable mood. It's going to improve your sleep. It's like this comprehensive, it's just a better fuel source to be operating in most of the time. And you're going to feel like crap if you are stuck in a sugar burning system and you're trying to like lose weight, or you're trying to have consistent energy. You're trying to sleep better. You're going to be like, I feel like
for sure.
crap. And that's just the truth. So, I mean, your metabolic health is so important. And I don't know, did you ever do any kind of testing and figure out whether you were in like a sugar burning state or a fat burning state? Or do you know of any, like, I don't know, family member stories, anything like that, of people making that switch over and what that was like for them?
I mean, personally, like I got really into keto when it was popular about 15 years ago and realized that didn't work well for me. I think I was actually already doing a pretty good job. Like for a cycling female, I went keto. I was doing CrossFit 5 days a week, and I like completely burned out again.
Yeah.
So that was like the other end of the spectrum. I've never been like a carb heavy person. So it wasn't like a thing for me to like get off of the carbs and sugar. I never, my parents are in the dental industry.
I love carbs. I don't eat a lot of carbs. Let me preface that. I don't, especially when I'm not like working out, but I love them. Like,
I mean, I'm Italian. I like, if I could eat like pizza and pasta, like I would actually be really happy, but I know I don't feel good.
I know.
So I just don't. I eat more
though.
like paleo.
Yeah.
But like I said, like I grew up with like no candy in the house, no soda in the house, no fast food. So I didn't have to like break that cycle, which I'm like very blessed for that.
Yeah.
But then like, wearing a CGM was really helpful. I still think everyone should wear a CGM for at least
continuous glucose monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I haven't done that yet, and I would be.
You haven't?
I know, isn't that crazy? I've never done it.
We got to get one on your arm.
I know.
It's so good.
Is that the best way? You like the one on the arm? Is there like yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many now, and they're so much cheaper. Oh my gosh, the price has just like dramatically come down on them. And you don't need a prescription anymore, which is huge.
That's good. Yeah.
But not only will you learn how different foods impact you, you learn how your lifestyle impacts your glucose. So for me, the biggest like hitter on my CGM was poor sleep. More than what I was eating. If I didn't get enough sleep or had poor quality sleep the next day, my blood sugar was like on a roller coaster. All day I'm trying to catch up.
Even when you were eating the same thing that you ate the day before when you had a great night of sleep.
Yep.
That's fascinating.
And sometimes I'll see it go up because, I went in the sauna, or I had a hard workout, or I had a really stressful call. All those things are impacting your glucose. But most people just think if I'm not eating sugar, my glucose is fine. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
And then also you can play with like combinations, like what protein, fat, carb ratio do I need? And then what time of day? And then for cycling women, what day of the month do I need to tweak my macros? Yeah. So that gets really fun, pairing the CGM up with your menstrual cycle. Ooh. And your Oura ring. You can learn so much.
So good. My Oura ring just went down on me, and it won't charge anymore. I'm so sad, but I need to get another one. I'm going.
How long have you had it? Because sometimes they'll replace it.
I don't know. I mean, I did reach out to them, and I don't know what like happened. It was actually Dawn again, like who got me the thing, but I haven't wanted to pester him about it. It's like, I'll just buy another one. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those things. It's like you don't want to, ask too much of your friends or whatever. But but I loved it because I love the information. I'm just an information guru. I love having that information at my fingertips because it helps me make better, educated decisions. It's like I feel like knowledge really is power.
Yeah. So you're in the data camp of biohackers, right? Like a lot of biohackers are turning against data now.
No, I like data, but I also am not just married to data. I think some people really want to have the science say it, or it doesn't exist, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I think first and foremost, the most important thing that we can do is lean on our intuition.
For sure.
And dig into that. There's a lot of talk right now about, cycle syncing, and then there's like the people coming out and saying that's just not true. Like, we shouldn't even think about it that way. And, there's always going to be a debate on either side of any subject and any topic. Now, I think that cycle syncing is valuable. That's my personal opinion because it's been valuable for me. It has changed my life.
Same.
Understanding the way that my body works allows me not to be so pissed off at myself and understand how like I can prepare that, okay, like I know that my chill the fuck out week is coming. How can I like, let me schedule the massage for that week. You know, let me do the things that help me like decompress. Let me try to look forward to that week as opposed to feeling like this is the week that, you know, I want to be able to do what I can do in mid-cycle when I'm at my peak and I'm feeling my best, and putting my burden on myself to do that, you know, the following week when I'm just like not quite usually there. But it's not always like that for me. It's not always black and white. It's not always like, okay, you know, 4 days before my period, it's going to be like this and it's going to, you know, everything's going to, the world's going to fall down and it's going to be terrible. It's not always like that. Like sometimes I'm just listening to myself and like, I still feel good. Like I feel great. I did nothing.
So go to the gym.
So go to the gym and work out.
Cycle syncing maybe says don't work out, but you're like, I feel good and my HRV is
there
like
we are.
shining.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't really believe in like looking at the data and being like, if they're like, oh, don't work out. You know, I saw someone was saying that basically half the month and that, you know, cycle syncing recommends that you don't work out. And I'm like, well, that's wild. I know we have, you know, our luteal phase and we might not feel as on top of the world, but I would never tell anyone at any point to not work out unless they feel genuinely at that day, for whatever reason, that their stress management and the load and all the other things that you have to take in a context of life, this isn't the day that I'm going to work out. Or like, it was like, don't lift weights or something like that. It's like, it's that's so silly to me. But knowledge is also power. And it also helps me be like, oh, that makes sense why I'm not feeling this way. I don't have to carry on guilt now or push myself to do something that works against my body, because that's what I did for so long. I always worked according to male model. Yeah, and I trained like a male athlete and I did the same thing every day, and their hormones, you know, support them to be able to do that. My hormones change. And now when I adjust my training for my hormones, and it really depends on how I feel, but I also like to take the information in to understand like, oh, okay, my body temperature's coming up. That's a sign, you know, the progesterone's like here and like I'm about to make a big hormonal shift, and, you know, and then estrogen's going to come in, and during that time is probably going to be challenging for me. Maybe this isn't a week maybe this isn't a day or two that I push an 11 out of 10. Right. Maybe I go to the gym and it's like, I do like a 5 out of 10, something. Or I do a 3 out of 10 or 2 or 1.
Right.
Like maybe it's just going for a walk after my final meal of the day. Like that's okay. It's okay. Like we do not have to overthink this, but some people don't know how to lean into intuition. They don't know how to.
A lot of women don't.
Yeah. Well, a lot of men don't either, but I think it's more complicated for us in the way that our hormones are constantly shifting. I think we do need to be a little bit more understanding that we're going to have more changes.
Right.
And that it's just, we can't rely on the fact that it's going to be consistent, because it won't be.
Right.
Most likely.
Right. But you're right. I think it's like combining the data, maybe like the data from your Oura ring with like a journal. And then trying to learn and tap into that intuition like all at the same time. And then it gets easier, you know, every month.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I think a lot of the pushback on cycle syncing came out because people felt like those of us that are talking about cycle syncing were saying, luteal phase, don't work out. I'm like, no, that's not what we're saying.
Yep.
That was like totally taken the wrong way. And then they came back and said, well, we found this study that women can actually put on muscle the same every day of your cycle. That doesn't change. And because they were saying, oh, pro cycle syncers are saying, oh, we can only put on muscle mass when our estrogen is peaking before ovulation. And again, it's not what we were saying. We're just saying going to the gym when your estrogen is high might feel easier. Like that 100-pound deadlift might feel easier on day 13 than it does on day 28.
That's my experience.
You can put on the same muscle mass. It's just how you feel about the exercise.
Yeah.
Right. The mental mindset, you know, is huge when it comes to working out.
Yeah.
So, a lot of like myths around that.
Yeah. When you ask your body to move a certain amount of weight, it makes sense that it's going to respond and move that weight. Granted, you're capable of that. But mentally and emotionally and the things that go on, that is like a biopsychosocial thing that happens in our body, right? It's like more things to take into account. Sometimes that's just literally a heavier lift.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's literally just feels heavier, and maybe you lack a bit of the explosivity or the drive or the things, you know, that because your body follows your mind. And I can
For
speak
sure.
to this as a professional athlete. And if it's like I am at a low point hormonally and I'm just exhausted and the molehills feel like mountains, the things that I have to do just feel more stressful
Yeah.
at this time in my cycle, I'm not very excited about trying to hit a max that day. I'm just not. I'm not very excited about the fact that I'm even in the gym lifting weights. I'm probably actually kind of irritated about it. And so therefore, I'm not like mentally in the place where I'm like, yeah, you know, like I'm going to get it today. It's like, I'm going to get through this today. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to get through it.
Right.
And just that simple mindset can affect like the fact of like, am I lifting as much as I was last week? And usually I make the adjustment and I make the call that like, no, we're not, because last week was a max week, and or we're really trying to push and see what I'm capable of. And like, that was great for that week. Most likely this week is a deload week. And that seems to work well for me.
And you're giving permission to yourself.
Yeah.
That that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the most important thing to keep in mind when we're talking about data and the science and all the things. Like sometimes I just feel like I don't need a double-blind placebo-controlled study to tell me how I feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of biohacking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the science is great as well, but like, it's not going to tell me what like feels good. Like methylene blue. I'm sorry. I feel so good when I take that. When I use the brain tap and the PEMF.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more research on that now, but like I feel amazing.
So good.
So I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Brain tap's another fantastic one.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Such a good reset. I've had some interesting epiphanies.
During brain tap sessions?
During brain tap sessions.
Yeah. I've become very creative. And I'm not a creative person. I shouldn't say that, but I've just never felt creative.
Yeah.
But during the brain tap, I solve problems.
So cool, right?
Yeah.
So interesting. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
that's cool. Do you have a brain tap?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a brain tap. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things too where I get busy and I get working against myself a little bit, and then I'll forget about it for a little while, and then I'll start it again. I'm like, oh my God, this is so nice. Like I need to do this more often. And then, you know, I go back and I'm doing it and I'm regular, and then, you know, I travel and I don't bring it with, and then I'm out of it for a little bit, and I come back and I do it again. I'm like, this is so, why don't I do this more? You know,
I
so
do
great.
It almost every single day.
Really?
Like that's how good
so
I feel.
Good.
I'm like, I'm angry if I don't get, I travel with it too.
I'm with you. And I don't know why I don't do it more consistently, because it's undeniable. Like the effects for me is absolutely great. I've
talked to some people that are like, I don't get the brain tap. I don't feel anything with it.
I had one person do that too. Most people that I've, you know, my sister, she tried it one time and she's like, I have to buy this right now.
That's how I was. I tried it at a biohacking conference like 7 years ago. I did a 10-minute session. I said, how much for this?
Yeah.
I took it home and I've used it almost every day since then.
Because my sister suffers from insomnia. Like she has trouble going to sleep, and she just, you know, I mean, there's probably a number of things, but she's into the biohacking, and she tries, you know, she's otherwise a like pretty healthy person, but she just has trouble falling asleep. So
has she tried the Muse headband?
No.
That might be something to look into for sleep.
Is that the one that has like is it massage or what does it do? No. I don't know what I'm thinking about, because like my husband has one of those things. It's like an eye mask, and it has like he uses it. I don't use it, but for some reason Muse. I know I've seen it somewhere on a product I have or something. Okay,
yeah,
tell
they've
me
been
about
around for a while. You would probably recognize it.
Yes.
But they just upgraded their band to make a sleep focused band. So it's like this really soft band that you wear, and it's actually measuring EEG, so your brain waves while you're sleeping. And then it matches the sounds that you need based off of your brain waves. So great for people that have a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep. It also tracks your sleep. So if you just want to track your sleep, that's really cool data, which is way more accurate. Like the Oura Ring, it's only like 60% accurate.
Yeah.
The only way you can truly measure sleep is brain waves. And the Muse is doing that.
Interesting.
But then it's giving you the feedback.
So it's something that you hear, like is there a
Yeah, you can put headphones in with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which like I don't like to sleep with headphones, but if I had insomnia, I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. But otherwise, it's just you wake up and you've got this data.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, as long as you don't mind wearing a band on your head, it's super comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I'm a sleep princess, You know, I don't want like anything weird in my bed, like on my head. You know, I've done sleep studies. Like those are so hard to sleep with, but like the Muse headband, you barely feel it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What did you find out in your sleep studies?
Oh man, I found out I have moderate sleep apnea.
Really?
Yeah. This has been the year of like, I've gone down the rabbit hole of sleep disordered breathing, and it is mind blowing. It's going to blow up in the next couple of years. Like, women are not being diagnosed. It's awful.
Why would it be women are not being diagnosed? Do you think men are seeking this more? Or,
I
mean,
think,
women, wives are complaining at their husbands. They're snoring too loud? Like, what is it?
I think that, like, because I think snoring is like the main sign that people say, oh, you probably have sleep apnea. But there's a lot of females like myself. I don't snore at all. There's no signs that I'm struggling to breathe overnight, but my sleep study found that I stop breathing many times every hour. And so I think also with like men, you know, with sleep apnea, we think like bigger men, the wider necks, they're snoring, they're overweight. Like that's the typical case. But like me, like I tell other physicians and they're like, you have sleep apnea? You don't look like you have sleep apnea. I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
I have it. So like we're obviously missing a lot of that. And the Oura Ring, I love you, but it didn't pick it up. It picks up that I have a high respiratory rate, which is interesting. Like
right.
Breathing too many times a minute. But yeah, so I'm going down the rabbit hole of that. I'm not using a CPAP. I'm working on like retraining my breath. I'm doing HRV biofeedback.
Mouth taping?
I'm not currently doing mouth taping. I have done it. And then like the nasal expanders, yeah.
Are you finding anything that's helping?
The HRV biofeedback has been the biggest thing.
What is that?
Yeah. So you're measuring your HRV in real time, and then it's telling you how to breathe for like coherence. So everyone has a different coherent breath rate. Mine is, I think, 4.6 per minute. So I wear, this heart rate strap here, and then it's telling me beep, inhale, beep, exhale, and I follow that. And it's just retraining your nervous system, which I think everyone needs.
No
but
kidding.
Part of what we're seeing with high respiratory rate overnight is it's a reflection of how you're breathing during the day. So if you're breathing a lot during the day, shallow breathing, not doing diaphragmatic breathing, you're very stressed, that's actually showing up in how you breathe while you sleep. So I'm trying to retrain how I breathe during the day to impact my overnight. And it's come down a little bit, but it's going to take time.
Do you do deep breathing exercises?
Now I do.
Yeah.
But I didn't for so long. And I, ballet for 25 years, we were taught suck it in,
right?
Pelvis under, breathe
like
from your
shallow
chest.
breaths, huh?
Like the worst. Actually, like some breath experts say ballerinas are the worst breathers.
Well, it's like if you don't use the bottom parts of your lung, forgive me that I don't know the right terminology, but
like your diaphragm.
Yes, and but it's just like the bottom like half of like your lungs essentially. Like if you were to think of lungs on a diagram, or the bottom quarter, it's like you start to lose the capacity to fill your lungs that full. And people, I think after the age of 30, the large majority of people will never run a sprint. Like again, it's like crazy, it's like people are not getting anaerobic. They're not getting aerobic a lot of the times, because the jobs and things that we're required to do don't require you to fully inflate your lungs. And so, if you don't do that, you kind of lose the lung capacity. And so that makes sense. And breath is life. I mean, I think that goes without saying, right?
Yeah. But it's above water and food.
Absolutely. It's our number one source of energy.
Yeah.
It's our primary source of energy. I mean, how long can you go without breathing? And we do it every day. We do it all the time. We do it without thinking. But if you can learn to capitalize on actually using your breath work for everything, like getting out of fight or flight.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful response. Like for me, when I have a chaotic situation, let's say I lost sight of my kid for a second, and I'm like, the panic sets in.
Yeah.
Or somebody almost hits your car or something like that, and you're like, you're just all of a sudden, boom, you're
sympathetic.
Immediately. Yeah. It's like for me, taking those deep diaphragmatic breaths pull me right out of it. And within 30 seconds, I can be back to my normal baseline, as opposed to just letting that linger and all those stress hormones just still be present. And, I can actually take myself manually. And I think this is been proven that breath is the only way that we can manually get ourselves out of fight or flight. So
and it's free.
And it's free. It costs nothing. It's a great biohack.
Yeah.
Just learning to breathe.
Increases HRV, right? Everyone's obsessed with, how do I raise my HRV? Learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
Learn how to train your nervous system through breath. That will skyrocket your HRV more than any other device. There's so many devices that claim to raise your HRV. Why don't you train your
heart
nervous
rate
system
variability for anybody who's wondering abbreviations? It's like, you're good, but I was just like, just want to make sure people are following along. Your heart rate variability, which kind of just lets you know. I mean, it's such a variable thing between people. Obviously, people have all these.
You can't compare to other people.
You can't compare, but if you are ever interested in measuring your heart rate variability, it's kind of like the peppiness, for a lack of better term, of like that, your heart ready to, that variability, like, is it ready to like take on whatever, or are we kind of sluggish? I mean, we're, and, different things in your life are going to affect that. It's a number that's always kind of fluctuating either way, but there are things that you can do on a consistent basis to basically help improve that, which is a great pillar of understanding your overall health.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it.
I think it's the greatest biometric to look at. Because it does change with so many things, right? Like bad stress or negative stress, whatever happens in your life. And then good stresses, cold plunges, saunas, you're going to see it drop, but that's building that resilience that will then increase HRV later. Over time. Yeah.
It's just like when you work out and you go to the gym to tear your muscles. Right. That's what you go to the gym for. Right. You don't go to the gym to get stronger. Like you I mean, you in the long run, but like when you're actually at the gym working out, you are not getting stronger.
Right.
You're getting weaker. I guarantee you, if you go in and you have a great lift and then you have to do something physical right after that, like, I don't know, help someone move for, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, I'm not as strong as I was before this lift. I'm like right in this moment weaker for this, but eventually you're going to see the improvement and the gains from that stressor. Right. So like these things that you're talking about that are adding stressors,
hormesis.
But eventually are going to build the resiliency.
Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh, that's a good saying.
Perfect. Yeah.
It is. This has been so fantastic. I know we're coming to the end of this, but I just want to give you the stage to talk about anything else that you love as a biohacker. Any of your favorite things that maybe we didn't talk about, or things that, maybe the audience would just appreciate knowing. I know there's just so many that you can pull from. So, I mean,
I think something that not enough people are talking about in the health space and biohacking space is the connection to dental health. So again, because my parents, I grew up with this mindset, but your mouth, it impacts your whole body. So if you have silver amalgam fillings, you have root canals, cavitations, you're using fluoride, you're using mouthwash with alcohol in it.
Not good for you.
All of that is disrupting your entire body. And especially for anyone that's dealing with a chronic illness and they can't figure out what is going on, mold, Lyme, Epstein-Barr, all these things people are trying to fight. If you're doing all the detoxes and the gut protocols and all the things, you've cleaned up your house and you're not getting better, go see a biological dentist and make sure you're not missing something in your mouth, because that leaching infections and toxins into your body could be the missing piece. And I see it all the time. I've worked for my dad for almost 15 years. I do the nutrition for his patients. So I've seen crazy stories of it changing people's lives.
But do you think that you would know if you have an infection in your mouth? But is that always the case?
Mm-mm. Actually, the asymptomatic root canals sometimes are more toxic than the painful ones.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can do especially root canals. I know it's a sensitive subject because no one wants to lose a tooth. I actually, when I was 16, I was in a really bad accident and I broke my jaw. I needed stitches. I broke a ton of teeth. And I had 2 teeth that I would have gotten root canals in if my dad wasn't a biological dentist. But because he knows about the dangers, I had them pulled. And so I'm going through tons of dental surgeries this year to fix everything. But I know it sucks to lose a tooth. So if you have a root canal and you're like, I'm not ready to lose it, see if your dentist can run a dental DNA test, and it'll look at the different toxins coming off of that tooth. And that may persuade you to just get the thing out. Or you say, okay, that's my, like we were talking about earlier, that's my poison. I have to do everything else in my life super clean and healthy because my immune system is trying to fight that off 24/7. So,
Wow.
yeah. And cavitations, for people that have had wisdom teeth out, it's a huge source of cavitations because a lot of dentists,
What does that even mean?
so cavitation is a hole in the jawbone.
Okay.
And so what happens is, like, a lot of kids, they are going off to college and their parents say, hey, let's just get your 4 wisdom teeth out preventatively or proactively. And what happens is they take them out. They don't take out the periodontal ligament. And then it closes up and it creates this hole. And that hole is the perfect feeding ground for, again, mold, Lyme, Epstein-Barr, bacteria, viruses. They love it in there because it's an anaerobic environment.
Right.
And so then, yeah, so cavitations, I think we're going to hear a lot more. I mean, my dad's been treating these for 30 years.
Yeah.
But still no one's talking about it.
I had wisdom teeth taken out on one side, and they were like, because I had broken one, and so they were like, well, if you take the one out, not the other, then the top one's going to like grow down or whatever, you know?
Oh,
and so
right,
like,
right.
I think I had it removed, but they're like, well, let's just take the other ones out to be preventative. And for whatever reason, my gut at the time was like, I don't want to take the other ones out. Like if they're not, nothing's wrong with it. Like it's just like, I just didn't want to do it. And so I didn't do it. So like I have my wisdom teeth on one side, but I don't have my
one
wisdom.
side and not the other. Oh, interesting. Okay.
I wouldn't let them take
I
the
have
other ones
my
out.
uppers and not my lowers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do your uppers like grow down a bit?
A tiny bit.
A tiny
Barely.
bit? Yeah.
Barely.
They were kind of like
It's not
telling
a
you like if
problem.
you don't have like, that's so interesting.
Right. If you don't have an opposing tooth, they say
Right.
it'll keep growing. But like it's been almost 20 years and they're fine.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. I'm like, I've lost other teeth. I don't want to lose more teeth just for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there things that people can do to like not have a root canal, but have like an appearing tooth there? Or they just, at this point, it just kind of got to be.
You mean to like replace the tooth?
Yeah.
I
Without
mean,
a root canal.
So if you have the tooth taken out, you can get implants, dental implants.
But okay. So that's what I was saying. So you have the tooth taken out. Okay. But I was thinking that the root canal implies, okay, I see what you're saying. Implies like when you put the fake tooth in, right? Or what do you call it?
Like the crown on top of the root canal tooth?
Yeah. And like, you know, that you have, it's kind of like a screw or something, right? That goes down to like hold it. Is that how it works?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about when you put, you like the root canal is like they, core out the middle of the tooth and then they just put like a crown on top typically.
Yeah.
Which is like the white
and
tooth looking thing.
That isn't usually problematic at that point, or is it?
I think all root canals are a problem.
I see.
Yeah. But again, think of it as it's something that your immune system has to fight 24/7. Again, pick your poison, right?
So clarify for me when you say like, if somebody has an infected nerve and tooth, what would be the better option than taking the tooth out, than the root canal?
Oh, I would just get the whole tooth out. The tooth out and the whole ligament, periodontal ligament out.
And that's different than a root canal?
Yes.
Okay.
So root canal, think of this. It's this is the analogy my dad says. If someone had gangrene in their big toe,
okay,
doing a root canal on that would be like coring out the toe and putting putty in there, just filling it with putty and closing off the top. You would never do that, right? You would you cut the toe off or the foot.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the tooth. You're just drilling out the middle, putting some plastic putty in there and closing it up.
So the difference in terminology would be more like an extraction?
An extraction, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Like with what I know about root canals, that's why I got these two out.
Yeah, I just didn't. And then at that point, then you put a post and a, like
you can get like a
implant.
zirconia implant.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's crazy. So I had 2 titanium dental implants put in because 20 years ago, that's all we had in the U.S. Europe, who's always ahead of the game, they were already using zirconia not long after that. We now have zirconia available in the U.S. So I chose in January of this year to get my titanium implants taken out, which was not a fun surgery. They had to like drill them out. And so I'm waiting now to get the zirconia ones put in December. Very excited for that.
So what if you've had a root canal done and you're like, okay, I want to undo that. What would the process be like? What'd you do? If you've already had a root canal, can you
Oh, I would just
fix it?
take the whole tooth out.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't undo a root canal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's, it's a solution. There's a solution.
Yeah, just get the tooth out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as scary as people think.
Yeah. For whatever reason, because you don't see, like, I don't see what happens. Like, I already thought the tooth was out because there's a cap. Like, I thought that it
was.
was.
Have one?
A root canal?
A root canal?
Yeah. Well, probably
Sorry, I
more
hope
than
I'm not like scaring you now.
No, but my brain is thinking. I think because I'm not a dentist and I don't see what happens. Like my impression was that the thing is removed and a post is put in, and then you have the cap on your tooth. But obviously, because I'm not seeing it. I never have watched a video of it. I don't know what actually happened. So that's honestly what I kind of thought was already happened. So it's interesting. So on a root canal, there's still tooth left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends because obviously how like big the crown is and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the main thing is the periodontal ligament. That's what really kind of houses the bacteria and toxins.
Yeah. Okay.
So you should have a biological dentist on your show.
Ah, I know. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's just mind blowing. That's why I was like, okay, I gotta at least.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have a friend of mine who is an orthodontist who specializes in I hope I use the right spacing of not the jaw but like the upper for
maxillofacial expansion.
Yes, he specializes in that for sleep as well. Like how it affects your sleep because I guess the shape of our mouth, and we were talking about this about. Some hypothesizing about even like nursing versus like bottle feeding and like the suction that's created from a bottle potentially like kind of more like collapsing as opposed to like filling
narrow.
And creating the narrowness and the kind of like arcing of the roof of the mouth as opposed to kind of like the width and the things, and also how our food is softer and more processed, and it's really interesting to think. But I never thought about how the shape of your mouth and particularly the roof of your mouth and the width of your, like how far your teeth are from each other could affect your sleep.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
So starting with your kids, did you say you think your daughter breathes through her mouth?
She does.
Yeah, like you want to address that now so she doesn't have issues later in life.
Yeah, I'm on her about it.
Yeah, so that'll be a good podcast. All right, stay tuned to that.
So good. Thanks for sharing all your great things today. Where can people follow you? And we talked already about Biohacker Babes, your podcast and everything. Anything else?
Yeah, find me on Instagram, the podcast.
Okay.
Website,
awesome.
I guess thebiohackerbabes.com, but
sweet.
It's my main jam.
And your Instagram, do you guys share one? It's a Biohacker Babes?
Biohacker_babes.
Okay.
It's where we're the most active,
So good. It's always good to see you. Thank you for your wealth of information and sharing your story today and all that good bits. Hopefully next time we do this, we can get your sister.
I know.
I wish she could have come.
I wish she got called back to cover Wicked on Broadway again. So I was like, you got to go. Yeah. You got to go. We'll do a podcast another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Renee.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.